All right, guys, in today's video, we're talking about the one thing you must have in your swing if you want to be a great ball striker. I'm pumped about this one. I think this one's really going to help you out. Here with Mr. JT Thomas. JT, if we look at good golf swings, the thing we were talking about, what good golfers do and what you must do that's non-negotiable is they're able to get a full rotation or full turn, both in the backswing and the downswing, while maintaining their inclination to the ground. What does inclination to the ground mean? Okay, let me take my setup, JT, for a second. What that means, if you watch good players, and we're gonna show you how to do this in some drills and feels, good golfers are able to get the full turn back, the full turn through, while maintaining inclination. Inclination means, right, if we were to have like a line up our back line or at the setup position, I'm able to keep my body's distance from the ground the same on the way back, relatively speaking, the same on the way down and through.
Yes.
And ultimately, what that does is makes it really easy to be able to hit ball first, ground second, get your low point forward, and hit it really solid.
Yes.
So I think to start, JT, it's like, hey, conceptually, must do full turn with full inclination to the ground.
Yes.
Now, the kicker is, let's flip-flop spots. The kicker is, how do we get the full rotation, JT, while being able to maintain that inclination? I think there is one answer to that.
Yes. So, you know, it's a really big deal, guys, for us just to show you from this face-on view. You can see this really easily. What we're looking for by full rotation is just, you know, 90 degrees where we get this parallel to the ground. And then for inclination, as Eric already mentioned, having to where this lead shoulder is lower than the trail shoulder at some point. Now, what most people struggle with so bad is they either do one or the other too much too soon, and they can't quite get to these pieces.
Yes.
So we want to give you guys an understanding of when do I need to do it, how much, and what does that look like. So when we set up to the golf ball, guys, we're already bent over, right? So we already have some inclination built in, okay? A lot of poor golfers that Eric and I see, they swing back and they do one of two things. They either completely come out of their inclination to start the swing. So now you notice this angle that I have. Now I'm much taller than when I started. Or we see one where they increase their inclination. So they get really close to the ground too much this way.
Yeah.
Both of these make it really hard for us to create that rotation that we're looking for.
And like consistently, imagine making a swing where you're going up, down, up, down, up, down.
And just swirling all over the place.
Hard to consistently hit the ball solid.
Yes, and that's really the goal here.
Yeah.
So the way that we want you guys to understand this and kind of describe this to you is we're gonna have our inclination built in to start.
Yep.
And we're gonna have a little bit of rotation as we start the backswing. That's the main goal. We don't wanna get into too much side bend too fast. Again, now you see how steep this angle is. I've started and I haven't turned very much. Most of the time I'm pretty stuck here.
Yep.
Instead, what we're gonna try and feel is you can put the club right along your chest. You're gonna try and turn to where you get the club at about a 45-degree angle. Okay, that's your first goal. You're not coming out of your inclination. You're not adding any inclination. You're simply turning on this 45 degrees. Now, the second step that we've talked about before is making sure that we have some side bend. And what this feels like is where we stand up completely straight and we reach down and try to touch this left knee. So this is kind of the side bend portion of our swing.
And JT, just real quick with that, sort of back to the beginning part, it's like the secret to being able to turn, full turn, while staying on that inclination is the side bend.
Yes.
Right? And so when you do that side bend move one more time, I don't want to interrupt you, but I think this is important.
No, it's good, yeah.
If you do the side bend move, what we're doing on the way back is combining that move with the turn.
Yes.
Right? Okay,
exactly,
gotcha. It's a combo of those two moves.
Yes. And, you know, like I stated before, when we have some inclination built in to start the swing, we need to make sure that we are rotating to start so that we can side bend as we finish kind of the second half of this swing. So the way that it looks for us when we do this properly is we have a smaller bit of turn and then we increase our side bend as we finish turning. Okay. So from that 45 to 90, that's when we are getting in that side bend position where we're standing up straight. Again here, what we see most of the time is either too much side bend or too little side bend.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you guys a reference point early on in the swing. If you get off balance and you get, you know, out of whack in the first couple feet, it's going to be hard to kind of regain that balance. The golf swing's only, you know, 2 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So I think a really big deal for everyone here is to understand, okay, I don't want too much side bend too fast. I don't want no side bend at all.
Right.
But I want to make sure that as I go back, my side bend is built in slightly to start the swing. As we get that little bit of rotation, now we're going to really crank up that side bend. That's what helps us really have this really nice low point, pointing that lead shoulder right at the ball.
And I think what's too, that you can stay in there, JT, from the down the line angle, if we look at JT or any good player, and sort of the old 2D thing is like if you drew the line up the spine,
Yep.
and JT were to just kind of make a normal backswing from there, he's going to keep that angle relatively the same. Now, if he didn't have side bend, he would lose that angle right away,
Yep.
right? So you see those differences? So the turning component, kind of let's just stand level to the ground, JT.
Yep.
Let's do kind of like a turn this way.
Yeah, perfect.
So the turning, if we were to turn away from the target,
Yep.
that's pretty easy to feel. You can do that level to the ground. That concept's pretty simple. The problem is then you're standing straight up and down.
Yeah, you can't reach the ground.
Can't reach the ground. And so from there, like how we build in the hitting the ground all the time, let's add the side bend back in,
Yep.
that keeps us back in there. And I really like JT, so this is sort of a common theme. It's the timing. It's not just what you do.
Yes.
We know we have to turn, we have to side bend. Most poor golfers don't turn enough. A lot of times don't side bend enough.
Yes, for
Or
sure.
the timing's off.
Yep.
And so, but you're saying the rotation early
Yep.
is key, and then we add the side bend. Now, we're gonna show some drills and feels, but if we were to kind of put that then into the downswing,
Yes.
is it the same concept?
Absolutely the same concept, and hopefully it's probably a little bit easier to think about or see on the way down. So, just how we talked about, if we side bend too much too fast, right? So if I go up to the top, I have a really nice backswing, but then I side bend my right side too quickly, which
Okay.
again is mostly a good player problem.
Yep.
But if I side bend too quickly, now again, I'm moving my low point too far back.
Can't turn.
Can't turn, right?
Okay.
I'm stuck back here. So we need to always get a little bit of turn going, initiated in the system, so that when we side bend, it keeps us going. Versus if we just side bend, it's hard to then add in some of that rotation. We get some arms pulling back.
Yeah,
We
okay.
get all kinds of issues.
So you're saying like, hey, for a lot of golfers watching this, they would hear, let me get my left shoulder down or let me tilt.
Yes.
And they're just doing it right off the bat.
Correct.
And that ain't it either.
Exactly, because we need the rotation, right? We just can't just side bend. We have to add some rotation. too.
Rotate early, side bend sort of after. Now, also, let's start the downswing again
Yep.
from a good spot.
Yep.
So if we're starting down, a little bit of turning, so it's that turning early, and then you're throwing that right side, like right
Yes.
oblique crunch in.
Exactly, and then we're throwing the right oblique crunch in. So we can use the ball here for a reference. I think is a really good reference for the downswing. The feeling will be, okay, my club is behind the ball. I have a really nice turn. As soon as this club gets right to the ball, then I can start that side bending process again. So
Ooh,
we
that's
don't
good, okay.
want to go right away. See how my club never got to the ball?
That would be like too much tilt too early with no turn.
Yes.
Would be the right away.
Yes.
Okay.
So this would be too much too early, never moved.
Okay.
Just like on the front side, too much too early, never moved.
Never moved like this way or this
Yes,
way.
never
Okay.
rotated, right? So we never did the rotation portion. So we want to make sure we go back here, have this nice rotation, start a little bit of rotation again, and then we side bend to the ball. Same thing on the way back. A little bit of rotation gets near the ball, side bend past, a little bit of rotation, side bend past.
And so when you're doing the side bend on the way back, let's do that drill again. I think we could probably just use this drill.
Yep.
So the back away, I'm just making sure I'm getting this too. The back away is the rotation.
Yes.
And then the down on the way back is the side bend. But then on the way through, let's go up to the top.
Yep.
So the way through, it should come towards the target. That's the
Yes.
rotation. But then when you on the side bend, now it's going to go up and back.
Yes, correct.
Okay. And it's when you get that butt of the club back to the ball that we're feeling that motion.
Yes.
I honestly think that simple drill like there,
Is huge.
yeah, we were trying to talk beforehand about like some cool drills and stuff like that. I actually think that
Yeah.
simple version is so good right there.
Yes.
And the whole point when we're talking about these are details and timing. The what is rotation and side bend. This is all just to keep that inclination to the ground.
Yep.
To hit ball first, ground second consistently. The best players, you draw the line up in 2D, they're just staying on that line, but you have to do these moves just to have that simple concept.
Yeah,
is
for
the
sure.
key.
It looks like they're doing nothing and they're doing like 10 things, right? That's
Yeah.
what makes the swing look so awesome. So I think a big takeaway for everyone to understand how to actually do this properly. Again, because our overall goal is, guys, we got to get this 90. If we stand up straight, cool, we get that. That's easy. I can get this turn on the way back. I can get this turn on the way through. But we don't, play golf standing completely straight up. We're bent over some. So now we have to incorporate some of the pieces that are left, side bend, right side bend. into the rotation. And we can do them too much, we can do them not enough. We just want to give you guys a reference point how to do them. And when we do them at the right time, it's so easy to hit the ground in the right spot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like almost automatic, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, big feeling here, guys. I have my inclination to the ground, you know, as Eric talked about at the beginning. All I'm trying to do is have a little bit of this rotation while I keep my inclination. That's kind of my side bend, is just staying bent over. And then as I get that club to the ball, now I'm gonna start my side bend in the backswing. Really nice backswing at the top. You notice from this face on, I have a full 90 degrees. From this down the line, you see I have some tilt on my shoulders. Then we're gonna unwind past the ball, and then really like how EC said, this side of the club is gonna move up. My right shoulder is gonna go down, and I'm gonna continue to rotate through the ball.
That's so good. I'm almost hesitant to add any layers, but I'm going to anyway, just to kind of, let me hop
Get in there,
for 1 second.
yeah. Perfect.
So, okay, so the simple version is back. So I'm here, we're saying a little bit of turn,
Yep.
and then I'm adding the tilting.
Yep.
Or side bending. A little bit of turn kind of back to the ball, and then I'm adding the side bend. That's so good, that timing in there. You know, in videos past, what JT showed me to feel the side bend on both sides is like if you stood up normal, like you did in the beginning, and let your left hand go down kind of towards your kneecap, that's feeling that left side bend on the way back, the crunch. But notice as my head goes towards the target as I do that, when I make a real swing, JT said, well, you do this, but then get your left hand back behind your right knee. And I'd be like, oh, wow,
Perfect.
okay.
Yeah.
Now my head's back on center. That's not so much the timing thing, just from a feel.
Yes, for sure.
And so you can also feel the same thing on the way down, kind of crunch to the right, crunch to the right, crunch to the right. And if I added the turn in, there's my back on center.
Yes.
I like that as just like a little feel.
For
We
sure.
were also kind of playing around. Another option, you can feel this, kind of club behind your back.
Yep.
Make sure your posture's still good, you're not standing up.
Yep.
And I could get similar feels here of, let me get this club pointed at or past the ball on the ground, at or past the ball on the ground. I do this on the course a lot.
Yep.
I like this one.
That's a great one.
Yeah, it helps me keep that inclination to the ground and full rotation on both sides. So I like that a lot. I think that's sort of enough added details here. I'm just gonna hit one with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Same sort of feel.
Yeah, let's hit a couple here.
So kind of turn with the tilt, turn with the tilt. The whole goal is to hit ball first, ground second, from good body motions where that inclination to the ground stays the same.
Yeah, great.
That was very solid.
Yeah.
That was my little pull draw motion we said, just left that
Yeah.
target line.
Yeah. Ball first though.
Ball first, ground second. So
Yep.
getting, yeah, like right there's a perfect little divot past the tee. So it's like you can get that low point forward from getting the body motions correct. I know that's some detail, but the detail's important sometimes.
Yep.
The simple thing is full turn
Side bend.
with side bend, full turn with side bend,
Yep.
okay? Conceptually. So I like that. I think we can go a couple layers deeper if we wanted to, but I think that keeps it relatively simple. If you guys have any questions on this one, I'm telling you, getting these body motions down fix so many things in your swing.
Yep.
And is definitely part of, if you're inconsistent when you play, something to do with one of those elements we just talked about. JT,
Yeah.
appreciate you, bro.
Good stuff. Yeah.
Very good. If you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. Consider liking, sharing with a friend, subscribing. All that really helps the channel.